Yes, indeed. We are back. We are here. What's up, YouTube? We are in the building tonight. Episode 115. It's December 13th, y'all. Unfortunately, this may be the last show of the year. So, we're just going to kind of hang out tonight. Do what we do. Draw a little something. All right. I'm not going to make too much of a fuss about it. We just go do some hanging out, okay? Let me know if you're with me. Let me know if you're in the building. And we're going to get to it. Sugar Mack is in the house. I know a lot's going on. A bunch of crashing. Got some chillings in the crib. Greetings to Camp Chaos. I hear it going on upstairs, y'all. But yeah. We got some kids in the building, man. White V's upstairs watching the kids, trying to get them to watch a movie and calm down and potentially go to sleep. It's like 9 o'clock. But it's all good, man. We're here tonight. So one of the things I promised myself that I would do with this show, and it's going to change dramatically next year. So like I said before, this show is going to change a lot. This channel is going to change a lot. But I've been thinking about it a little bit from last week, and I enjoyed the Saturday night kind of join with y'all. So I might not give that up, but I may add some other elements to it. We may do some teaching on here, showing you how to do some digital art. I may show y'all how I set up this whole setup going, show you all the equipment, kind of show you how to do your own stream at home. It's the progression. When I first started this show, it was just an iPad and an iPhone. My computer that I had at the time, I've upgraded since then. I've added another camera, high-end camera since then. So it's been a bit of a journey. So I want to show y'all what the journey has been and where I've started and where it came from. So that may be a part of like the making of Mac sketches. I don't know, or an equipment type of deal. So we'll see how that goes. But there's definitely going to be some teaching. And I'm going to try to get some, we're going to start reaching out to some of the comic book artists. And potentially have some interviews and some discussions with them about, some of the things that they do. So, with that in mind, I'm gonna do this little comic book session that I like to do because I promised myself that I would highlight more, what you say, B-side artists, okay? Artists that don't get all the glam. Some of y'all who see some of the big names like Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, those are the top dogs. They got big companies. And then you have now Daniel Warren Johnson is one of the big dogs out there. So, he does a show here and there on a Friday night, plays a little music, but then he like slaps down Absolute Batman, this magnificent piece of work. So homework and do some poses, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, so some of the big dogs, but I want to, if any of you go to comic book conventions if any of you haven't been to a comic book convention, I advise you to go to a comic book convention. And, you may not see the big dogs may be there. Depends on what convention you go to. But, there's a lot of guys, a lot of artists that are like, doing their comic books, doing their art, spending their money, spending their hard-earned money just to kind of print a book out or print like a little small pamphlet out, per se, and to try to sell it to the audience. So sometimes when I even go to a comic book convention, I see a comic book artist, and he may show me one of the books, and then I kind of start looking through some of the books, and this is without reading them. This is kind of like just based upon, what I'm feeling at the time. And I may buy one book, I may buy the whole series. So So I do have some of this, a lot of series around here that I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to share with you some of the artists. I may reach out to some of the artists and see if I can get them on here. Some of the comic creators, all of them aren't always, the drawing it, or they may not even be the artist. They may be the one who conceptualizes the book, and then they get other artists to, get in there and visualize their ideas, and then come out with a book. Maybe come out with several books. So then you'll have that person will be out going to different conventions trying to sell the book. So, there's a lot of ways to be in this business. You don't have to be an artist. You can just be somebody who got a crazy idea about a comic book. It doesn't have to be superheroes. There's like lots of manga out there. There's a lot of romance manga. So there's different avenues, in the comic book space. If you like, superheroes, you like robots, you like drama. So there's like comedy. There's comedic comic books. We've all seen all of it. We used to call the funnies back in the days on the Sunday morning paper, and that's gone. So there's a lot of different ways of being in this industry, and I'm going to show you somebody who I admire a lot, and he's in the industry, but he doesn't particularly do comic books. He just kind of draws the posters and the comic cartoons, and he creates posters and he brings them to the convention, and he sells the different posters at the convention. Okay, but we're gonna start with something. Last week we left off with some of my little gems that I got from Tokyo. I was going through some of my stuff, and I forgot that I picked up a interesting gem. Any of y'all who may or may not know what this is, you see it's still in plastic. These are cell sheets from Prince Minoki. This is Prince Minoki, an anime classic. If you haven't checked out Prince Minoki, this is the one. Okay, this is the book. All right, this is the book. Well, check out Prince Minoki, the anime cartoon. It's a movie, and these are some of the cells. Some of the cells in here. Okay. Now I can't read none of this. I gotta pull out the translator. I saw this. It was out in one of these little, I don't know what you call it, a book market. It was a market nonetheless. It's a flea market, and they had books out there. So I catch this. All right, I picked this up. So anybody who saw Prince Minoki know what that is. Okay. Now, this person that I'm gonna highlight and show to you guys is a little self-serving. Unfortunately, it's not me, but I'm gonna let y'all read the name. Self-serving, because this is my son. And my son is a fabulous artist, not just because he's my son. He's a phenomenal artist. He doesn't even know how good he is. He's a phenomenal artist. Okay, so I'm going to share a couple of posters, because he at the time when he did this book, it's about 3-4 years old now. The time when he did the book, he was actually, he had a whole bunch of these posters. So he's had the Venom, Carnage over there, Death Stranding. All right, the little Miles Morales, Spider-Man. There's a character that I drew a couple of weeks ago, Mega Man. Okay, so these are some of his posters. Okay, this is his book, Wild Imagination. So it's about, my stuff as I see him draw. This was the Godzilla piece there. I don't know what this anime is, but he can do like these crazy dynamic poses, and he knocks these things out really quickly. Knocks them out pretty quickly. Leave it to somebody I was drawing last week. I see his rendition. It's better than mine. Probably drew it in a few days. It's gonna take me a month to draw the one that I was drawing. Okay, then there's a whole series of dinosaurs in here. This is a nice book. This is like the work that he had at the time. This isn't even all of his work. It's just some of the pieces that he pulled together that he sells at the conventions. And he draws most of the posters that he liked. That's 2 and 3. So if you haven't heard, look up Christian Mack art on Instagram. He posts most of his work there. And just check it out. Okay. All right. That's it. That's it for today for that. So let's get to it. Let's get to it, guys. So a couple of weeks ago, I did a couple of small sketches. I did a sketch of, and this is the thing that we've been doing for the last month or so. I think I've been doing like all the throwbacks. I'm an old dude. Birthday just passed. I missed it. Birthday passed. I missed it. So I was doing all the throwback cartoons. We did Green Hornet, right? Throwback from the 60s. We did Astro Boy. We did Mega Man. Last week, it is a throwback still. We did some Dragon Ball Z the last couple of weeks. And this is of several names. Battle of the Planets, Gotcha Man, G-Force. All right? G-Force. For those who don't know, now you know. All right? And this character here was the lead character. His name is Mark. Okay? Now, I have a couple sketches. This was one of them. I was kind of playing around with it a little bit today. And then I just took a part of it and we just blew it up a little bit because I just want to concentrate on the face. Okay, concentrate on the face. We're gonna do this in 2 phases. Phase 1's gonna be me kind of getting this was phase 1. This phase 2 is going to be me kind of doing like an ink over it, okay? And then we may paint. Okay, let me get this thing to work. Oh, okay. Let's get all right. So hit me up, man. Be in the building. Hit me up. Now, over the years, they've had several renditions of this particular characters. These characters, G-Force. Those of you who grew up in the 70s, know that this was like the thing you ran home from school to go see. I don't even think they did this on in the East Coast, in New York, okay? I can't even say the East Coast because I don't even know. In New York, G-Force really came on. I think he came on in the morning, early in the morning. And as it gained more, this was like a test, as it gained more popularity, I think they started putting it on in the afternoon. Correct me. Those of you who know, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. All right? Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But it originally came on an obscure time. G-Force was after after Speed Racer. Okay, so this was space oriented. Okay. It was early on, so we didn't really think about some of the concepts of some of the stuff from the 70s and 80s. A lot of it's starting to come true. We were doing our artist exchange today, and one of the artists drew R2D2. So he was like, I always wish I had when I saw Empire Strikes Back, I've always wanted to have a Android. I was like, it won't be long now. So we've been talking about robots and, Jetsons and all that 50, 60 years now. 40, 50 years. So these guys were clones, genetically modified clones. So they can jump and fly and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So that was the premise of the show. Okay. And they was fighting off. They were the intergalactic protectors of Earth from space invaders per se. So they had special abilities, and they would fight off some of the attacks by the giant robots and all that. They had the ship they flew around called the Phoenix. So it was 5 of them. I'm trying to give you all the background that I can remember. If you've never watched G-Force before, or ever heard of it, or Battle of the Planets, or Gotcha Man, in any way, shape, or form. That's pretty much the background of that storyline. Okay, I'll do this in a different kind of way. I don't think I have it forward enough. Okay. I think that's it. These outfits were pretty complicated for back then. I mean, kind of. But I just recently watched YouTube reveals everything. Just recently watched a YouTube video talking about, which we all kind of knew this as American, like in the 80s, as we watched more of the show, that the show was not the actual real show. It was patched together. I gotta figure this one out. I gotta do what I normally do. I need some reference. Let's see. Let's get some reference. Because I think that face is not forward enough. Yeah. Just need to see the side of it so I can get it right. Based upon what I'm looking at, I think it's more like here. That's why I drew it the way I did. This is not this far back. Stand this up. All right. I got a little bit of reference. Keep me up if you're in the building. Who's ready for Christmas? Unless you're like a planner, you've gotten all your toys and everything already. Well, presents. If you're not a planner, you have nothing yet. And I want to draw the window. Here we go. I'm checking out some images of kind of like what it looks like on an angle, and seeing I think the next little back I'm going to end up doing, guys, is going to be we're going to take a look at Hanna and Barbera. Just think about that. That's a throwback. See how I had this whole thing? So that changes like the whole trajectory of everything. Now, on top of this is like this. I want to get this right. This. See it drawn different ways. Okay. I think I got a good one. It's like a hawk beak or eagle beak. Piece that goes like this. And I think this is still too far out. Okay, so kind of like that. The only thing that I have to fix, you're gonna keep it anime style. Keep it anime style. Actually, wait. First, we're gonna move this up. There. Anime style. Give them bigger eyes. Okay. That means I gotta fix this side. Don't look right. Okay. Let's see what we got. Now, I have to make sure I know, you know what it looks like Mark. And I still don't like how small it is. So, some things that I do is drive me bananas. Probably gonna get rid of some of that. Okay. All right, I think I'm getting what I want. Hold on. Mark had the softer chin. The other character, Jason? I'm gonna look for a different. Maybe something from the comic book. They recently did a couple of comic books, so I think they have. I'm not sure if they came out with a new one in 2024 or they were coming out with a new one. one thing that was cool, they actually dropped some of his hair there. Let's change the trajectory of his nose. I didn't want any of this on this level. Keep drawing. This. Okay. I'll pull it all together, guys, and clean it up. I don't know if I want this to be dark like that. I'll figure that out. Yes, since I changed position, I know it's rotating. Can we do it? See it, but I ain't doing that. Let's see this, man. Weird. Weird. All right, let me see what the emblem on his chest. It's like a hawk. It's bigger than what I think. Let's see something. Color back there. I like treating you, dude, with a tiny Versace beanie. I'm showing man. It's got the little, it's a little indoor joint. You ain't gotta, you can go out with this on. You ain't gotta be freezing because the ears aren't gonna be covered up. So, you know, life is all right, man. Can't complain. I wouldn't want to hit into that anyway. That's all good. All right, let's move for some coloring and some painting. How about that? Got down for that? Let's get some skin tone popping. A little layer. Those of you who haven't been on the channel, a lot of times it's an experimentation, okay? Just having some fun, trying some new stuff, trying to draw characters. That's the whole deal, okay? If you want to hang out with your boy. Saturday night vibes, all right? Those of you just joining in, I know we're drawing. Mark, close up from G-Force, Battle of the Planets, whichever one you want to rock out, okay? I'm at work, but I'm still tuned in. I appreciate you. So, sisters in the building. Okay? Sisters in the building. Let's give it to that so I can see. So I can see what's going on. Let's get this to be a little more pinkish. Late night working? Late night working. Let me see if this works. How did that work? Cut it off here. Right. I'm gonna make put some shad on the back side of the backside of the nose. Okay, put some shadow under the nose a little bit. The eye got caught. Let's take it out. This is not white. I'm just using an eraser to cut the hole. It's a little weird. It can be fixed. These eyes are not even. Eyes are not even, guys. Let's move this one back. So underneath here we got the that split in between your. I'll do a little more pronounced. I highlighted it a lot. I think the lights white needs to go here. And I'm gonna do this. I'll do this nose. Slight, little redder. Now what has to happen is highlight on the nose, or something like that. You would have highlight here, highlight there, maybe a little bit underneath the eye, that. Soften it a little bit. It's a little too much. We go back to this. There's a little bit of something here. Okay. Let's do a little bit of this over here. Those of you who know anything about facial anatomy, do you know anything? Like here, it's a cheekbone. There's a lot of light that hits there. There's actually a light that hits here. Just oddly enough. You can get a little bit here. This is like putting makeup on somebody, I think. All right, so let's get underneath the lip. So that means highlight, rim light. Now let's do highlights like that. A smaller brush to blend. May need to make this a little bit pinker. I think that it still needs to be a little bit darker. Get back to the old softy. It's a little smoother. Guys, we have. I gotta hit this up here. Maybe even a little bit darker as it comes. Highlight off the Of the mask. Well, what you call that? A hood? Cowl? What do you call it? You know. All right, so to bring back the face, let's drop. Now here's the wild thing. Nobody's eyes are white. White. All right. If you're in the building, hit your boy up. We'll do this. All right. Let's go to yellow. Nobody's eyes are white. It can be a little off-white-ish. What I want to do. Actually, I'm going to do this. Okay. And then, like, the edges are pinkish, right? In a way, right? So you get a little pink in here. Could be a little red, right? A little bit of red. Muscle tissue. Let's fade that out. Okay. Just think about that. Go to the top layer. So that brings me back to this, right? Like the closest part is, then you this is like a fine line. Okay. It's a little bit too pronounced for me, so I gotta bring it down. And then on top of that, then there's like another little dark pocket. Below that, okay? You can order like me, there's this little, there's be a bag underneath there. We're not gonna do that today. Okay. So then if you have this guy On the other side, it has to be darker. Okay. On the other side, have that. That'll come down here. Okay. So other pieces will be, eyelid, fold it back some way. It's to get darker here because you have lashes, right? You have lashes. I don't want to get crazy. So that's pretty much why it's dark here. There's some on the bottom too. Let's get into the minutia of the detail. Which I think at this point it's a little too much. Just want to get this eyebrow in here. Do that. Okay. All right, man. That's looking a little slick. It's looking a little slick. See me? All right, some quick outlines, guys, and then we're gonna wrap up. Some quick outlines of the mask. We're gonna try to keep it nice and smooth. Okay, let me get rid of that so I can see this. Boom. Huh? How's that working? All right, so you see I have like shadow on that side, but I need shadow on the other side. Okay, so right here, there's a piece here. Huh. That's odd. Wait, why did I do that? Oh. Wrong layer. Now, since the cape is white, I'm not going to make it white. Let's make it this little blue. And I'm going to do fade it white, okay? I'm going to do an oval and see if I can get it to be right. Okay. It's not quite right. Just walk it a little bit. Okay. Pause. I got the receipt process. It's kind of a now that's going to be white on the end. Okay. I might that's what we might do. I got one more piece I need to drop in here. I'm gonna do it on this one. Okay. Yeah. Actually, no. Okay, let's put these two together. Okay. Let's shave this and make this nice and neat. All right, so those are together. And you got this one, right? It's coming together. All right, so we're gonna do something fancy. Fancy. Yeesh. All right, we're gonna do fancy. Brush. I need a nose softy. Here, I'm gonna go 4 white. 4 white. Okay, fancy. Let's get a background. Everybody out the building, I appreciate y'all for hanging out. Got a lot more work to do here, but it's coming together. I'm gonna merge these two down. All right. All right, y'all. I appreciate all y'all coming in here, hanging out with your boy. It's been fun. This may or may not be the last one of the year. I appreciate all of y'all. Real talk. Thank all of y'all for coming and hang out with your boy. Anytime y'all come in here and hang out with me and just kind of chill and, watch me draw, it's not an action film. It's not a rom-com. It's just an old guy here that's kind of having fun with some characters on the screen. So I appreciate all of y'all jumping in. Y'all be safe out there. End of the year. Just make it to the next year safely. One peace, sound mind, one love. I'm out.